Last night. Oh, I stayed up and I watched Being Human.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I love that series. But only the first 3 series, because then it goes all weird and they bring in new people and it doesn't work.
Sometimes they just make things go on too long, don't they? They don't know when to, like, you know, when to stop something.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, I was up until I don't know what time I went to bed. But I kept falling asleep, so it's like, yeah, okay.
I started watching something called Terra Nova, so New Earth, right?
I've heard of it. I haven't watched it.
Yeah, it's on Disney Plus. I don't know where else it is, but I have my daughter's sign into Disney Plus, so
yeah, Emma's actually. So if it's any good, let me know.
Yeah, I mean, I'm quite enjoying it. It's not deeply hard hitting or anything, but it is quite interesting. So it's basically Terra Nova is an alternative place to live because man has wrecked Earth. Man has wrecked Earth to the point that the children don't even know what the sun and the moon and the clouds and everything look like. But once they get through, they kind of have to walk through I can't remember what they call it. It's a bit like a time warp, but they called it something else. And they have to be selected to go through. So it's not just anyone can go. But yeah, I'm finding it quite interesting. And they've got sort of, they live in compounds because outside the compounds are prehistoric animals. And I know.
They love a good dinosaur, don't they?
It's a little bit like Jurassic Park with a twist, you know.
Oh right.
But I'm quite enjoying it just because it's easy watching. I think it's not, you know. I'm just gonna run out and dish my dinner. Right.
Yeah, I'm just gonna run out as well for a second.
Okay.
Meet a Rizzler. Hello, Smurfy Pops. Hello, Smurfy Pops. Smurfy Pops. Smurfy Pops. Smurfy Pops. Smurfy Pops. Oh, I've got the blankie tonight. Not your blankie, it's mine. Mummy's blankie, not Murphy's blankie. What? Oh, is it outrageous, is it? We can lay on that bit, can't you? Lay on that bit. Funny dog. Funny doggy. Bye. You off? What's Daddy doing? I don't know, Mummy. Smurf, you're funny.
I'm back.
What have you got?
I have to admit, I have meat.
Mm.
I've had to start eating some beef in a desperate attempt to increase my iron stores because they're so horribly low.
Really?
Yeah. So I've had a little bit for a year. I'm not sure it's made much difference, but I'm keeping on trying. I can only eat beef. I can't cope with the thought of anything else. So I've made a little cottage pie, so it's got as much veggie in it as possible. So yeah.
What do we? Lentils are quite high in iron.
Yes.
Anything green and leafy. Beetroot, fresh beetroot.
I've been using. I pulled the last few beetroot from my garden, and I've been putting them in my juices.
Yeah. Oh, I love them in a juice.
Mm.
Really, really good. And I cook with a cast iron. I suppose you'd call it skillet.
Yeah.
So it's always good to cook because it then absorbs those.
That wouldn't work on my hob. So I have to use stainless steel on my hob.
That's a shame.
Yeah, the only thing that works on there. Yeah. It's difficult one, Angie, because my serum iron levels are high. This is what's so stupid. My serum iron is high, but my ferritin, my iron store, is almost in its boots.
Wow.
And I don't know why, but it's one of the questions I'm going to ask when I finally get to see the endocrinologist.
Yeah.
When they make an appointment for me, I'm going to ask to see someone who's thyroid specialist, because I've only just realised recently that endocrinology is not just about your thyroid; it's about all your hormones. So okay. you might get someone who's not a thyroid specialist. So we'll see. I don't know if I told you. This is completely off the track for your recording, but
that's all right.
I've just ordered a stupidly expensive but potentially really helpful genetics kit. So I'm doing a genetic test this week for certain genes, because there are some genes that prove if you've got a faulty gene, D102, D101 and D102 are all genes to do with your thyroid, and if you have faulty ones, it proves that you can't convert the T4, which is the thyroid store, into T3, which is the active thyroxine in the body. So I'm hoping that I've got the dodgy gene, because then I can say to them, what you were prescribing for me didn't work. This is now what I'm taking. And if you don't prescribe that for me, then I call it medical negligence, right? Because I can say, yeah, this doesn't work.
Absolutely.
We'll see. I don't know. We'll see. But
molasses is the other thing. Molasses.
See,
I knew there was something else.
It goes in my body, but for some reason, again, I think it's faulty genes. I don't really understand. I mean, I'm not a scientist, so I don't really understand how it all works.
Okay, so
deities,
goddesses and gods. So I know some witches don't even connect with deity.
Okay.
But for us, coming from a pagan kind of background, for us, we enjoy that connection. I mean, how many have I got that I'm connected with? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 11.
Well, I was going to say 10. I'm off. Yeah, I'm not surprised.
Some of them I'm more connected with than others. Sekhmet, she's, you know, she was calling me for ages. I kept hearing her, kept hearing her name in things. I'm like, Sekhmet, I know that from somewhere. I know that name from somewhere. And then when we went to the British Museum in 2019, that was end of 2019, we were in it's the area where John Dee's stuff is, all that magical stuff, and there's a statue there. So of course I went up and I touched it, and I got a zap. I'm like, whoa, here we go.
Wow.
And that's where that kind of, and then I realized that I've been hearing her name like for a few years on and off. And that's when I kind of, you know, started that journey, and Ian came on it with me. The whole, so I bought the book by Nikki Scully, and so the meditations, the alchemizing meditations, because they were just written in a book, so it's really hard to meditate when you're reading from a book. So I thought, well, we'll do what we do best. We'll put them down as tracks and do all the whistles and bells on it, and yeah, we went through that whole alchemization process, which is amazing. And it kind of, that thread through that process, it's permanent. So I don't think I've ever called myself, because, you know, you get some people, I'm a priestess of blah blah, or, you know, they have one and that's the only one they ever work with. But I don't know, from my, like I say, pagan perspective, you know, we have many deities that we can connect with, because I see them as facets of ourselves, because we're not, you know, we are multi-dimensional beings, we're multifaceted, we're not, you know, one thing. So I think that's where I come from when, you know, when I'm explaining that to people, if you like. And each, you know, and deities, you know, they don't correspond to just one element, but they have a predominant element. So Bridget is predominantly fire, but she's also earth, because she connects with, you know, cows, for example, and bees and foxes and things like that.
She's also water, isn't she, because of the wells?
Absolutely. And she's water as well. Manannon is very much connected to water. I mean, I haven't really explored that any further, but he's certainly connected to the marshes, because when we see the herons, I always take that as a sign to just, you know, make that connection again. That's, for me, that's amazing. Yeah. The river was up really high today. It wasn't spring tide high, but it had flooded a bit of the marshes, so that was quite nice today.
Also, we've had so much rain, so I think that's affecting levels of, I mean, so many of the fields around here are so waterlogged.
Really?
Yeah, even my back garden, the sort of the end of the grass nearest the house is so squelchy. It's ridiculous. Horrible.
Marsh.
Yeah, it is exactly like a marsh. And then Merlin goes out and, you know, he wheezes on the grass, and then he goes scrape, and of course he then brings in all this mud and grass on his paws on my, and especially today when I've just steamed all the floors, it's like, oh. Bless him.
Yeah, Murphy growls at me when I wipe the mud off his feet. It's like, well, you're not traipsing that everywhere.
Everywhere, exactly.
Growl at me as much as you like. The first deity I connected with, I think, was Hecate. And again, her name had been calling me through, you know, because we've been exploring witchcraft before I really fully stepped into it and got initiated. So her name, every time I heard her name, it's like a string on a guitar. It's like it was plucking something.
Yeah.
And I was a bit, whoa, this goddess, she's a bit scary to start with.
Queen of the Witches, right? She's Queen of the Witches, Hecate.
She is Queen of the Witches, yes.
Yeah.
And although people call her a Titan goddess, she's more primeval than that. She is like, I don't know, like an all-father, but as a goddess. So she's a creator, definitely. It's like Kali, so she destroys to create. So it's a bit like Discordia as well. Discordia has that energy. Energy. Oh, so that's actually 12 because Discordia as well. And Dusty, so that's 13. And Spirit Boudica is 14.
Love it.
Oh, and Fortuna, that's 15.
I bet you'll get to 20 by the end of this conversation.
So yeah, she was the first one. And I mean, when I first, so there were 3 that I started with. So there was Hecate, Odin, which is kind of, I think that's because I was watching Vikings at the time, and it's like, well, if I'm going to connect with a Norse god, I want the top bloke. Thank you very much. I don't want to deal with the minions.
No. Well, you've done that quite well then with Hecate and Odin, haven't you? Straight to the top, yeah.
And Arianrod was the other one, and I don't even know how I found her, or she found me. But with all 3 of those, I had quite visceral experiences. So when Ian initiated me, we went for a walk around the little enchanted woods around the corner afterwards, and there was an amazing, I don't know what birds they were actually. They might have been crows even, I don't know. So as we were walking down towards the woods, there was this spiral of birds that were just round and round and round. I'm like, oh, okay. And then this is mad. So we were walking through the woods, and there was this little girl with her dad walking towards us. And she looked at me and she went, oh, you're the fairy queen.
Oh,
she looked right at me and said that. I'm like, yes, I am. We just carried on walking. It's like, wow.
That's wonderful. How lovely.
So although Hecate's not a fairy queen, she kind of is of the underworld because she's a psychopomp. So, and I don't know, quite a few of the ones that I've connected with have that energy. So they, you know, they walk with you through the underworld, and you know they escort, you know, the souls that have passed to, you know, wherever that is that they go. To the void, back to the void. So that, yeah, there were some very visceral experiences I had connecting to those 3. And then, yeah, others kind of came in and some went back out because they didn't feel right. It's like Danu. I like Danu, but I'm not sure about her yet. Because when Ian drew her, it's really funny. Although I did colour in her picture recently. When she came through, when Ian drew her for the colouring book, she said, because she's always portrayed as almost like ethereal and beautiful, and she said, no, I want to be coming out of the swamp. So she was drawn coming up out of the swamp.
Well, she's had enough of the dark and the dirt and and the
Yeah,
stuff that falls along the bottom. Yeah.
absolutely. So I think you know.
Yeah.
I think you always know when you are being called.
Yeah.
By a goddess or a god. Come in there. You coming up?
I think that's right. I mean, I haven't given the time to really explore it, I guess, but for Bridget, doing the Imbolg, the last ceremony, the last 2 Februaries, is just that's it for me. You know, I absolutely love Bridget, and I think I'm sort of beginning to connect to Ariane Rod, partly because she's quite often in your meditations at the tower, but when you did the one yesterday, I pictured her sitting there spinning before you actually said that she was sitting there spinning. I know it's not it's not the first time you've said it, but it's like had that connection before you actually said it. So yeah. I think I'm beginning to sort of connect with her, but nothing's been that massive thing like it was with Bridget, when I'm like, oh yes. It's funny, isn't it? It's really interesting. I mean, I can remember when I first got into Reiki and crystals and stuff, and was then connecting with the angels then, and it's like some of them, yeah, absolutely, I connected with, and others I just didn't. So I suppose it's the same kind of thing, really.
Absolutely, yeah. I've never really done anything around connecting with archangels or anything like that. I mean, the closest I've come to that, I suppose, is connecting with planetary bodies.
Yeah. You've got some of the archangels around that talisman that we're going to use on Tuesday.
Yeah. So you got, with planetary bodies, you've got the energies. You got, so there's 2 different things. You've got the like the archangels of the planetary body, and then you've got the planetary energy of the planetary body. So it can be a little bit confusing, but it's if you call all of them, then you can't really go wrong.
No, absolutely.
I'm really looking forward to that one on Tuesday, actually.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
Yeah, it's really cool. And then that tells that I actually had an idea the other day as well. It's like I don't know how the hell I'm going to find the time to do this shit, but so making an altar cloth for those kind of talisman. So I could make a Mars altar cloth with that sigil on it.
Yeah, lovely. I mean, some of them I was looking through them, because obviously I bought, God knows when it'll come, because it's coming from Lithuania, but I bought the second one because I want to carry that around with me. But obviously in looking for that, I saw lots and lots, and it's like some of them are very transposable, like the one we're going to use on Tuesday, but then others of them, they've got that, there's Hebrew writing, and I'm like, I don't think I could ever copy some of that.
That's why, I mean, the Seals of Solomon, they're, I'm not saying they're not powerful, but for me, they didn't quite do it. Especially, like you say, when you're copying out the Hebrew writing, you don't even know if you're getting the letters right or not.
No, and if you get it slightly wrong, it might read something else.
Exactly. So, I mean, and I've even got a book with the Hebrew letters in, but some of them, they didn't match up. So I'm like, well, I don't know what I'm writing here. No. So unless you're going to specific, because you can buy the sigils that are, created by someone else in the specific metal for that planet, and it's already on there. But they're stupid amounts of money.
No,
so
they are. I looked at some of them. I mean, some of them, if you wanted to wear it as a pendant and it was made in silver or something, 120, 130 pounds. And I'm like, no thanks, I'll just have I think mine's copper.
Yeah.
It probably costs more to send it from Lithuania than it cost to buy the coin, but there wasn't any, that was actually the best price. So yeah, some of them were silly money. You just got to buy the thing that speaks to you, haven't you, really?
Absolutely. Where was I going with that?
We were talking about angels and planets and the energy, and the planetary energy as opposed to the archangel energy. Then we started talking about the pentacles, Seal of Solomon.
Yes, that's kind of why I went down the road of, see, runes are like our ancient language, if you like, and creating the sigils, like, using that amazing app.
Yeah.
To create them in a way that resonates for yourself, and I find that's much more powerful.
Yeah, I agree with you. Rather than just taking something else that someone else has created or put together, or that doesn't speak. And also we're doing it for the now, aren't we? Some of these things are really ancient, but we're doing it in the now by using the sigils the way that we do.
Absolutely. And although the seals of Solomon are, they're powerful, they're of a particular, they're of a particular part of the earth, so they're on a land that is foreign to us, if you like, in a language that is foreign to us, and a time that is, like you say, is gone.
Yeah.
So we're kind of moving that magic
into now. Yeah.
Into now. And I really, that's part of what we do with our magic work is, we innovate that.
Yeah.
And I love that.
I do. I especially love it with the sigils because it's some of them have really worked for me. And I gave one to Sarah. It must be 2 years ago now.
Yeah.
When she was going for a job interview, and then she carried that around on her phone, and she got the job. And I'm not saying that she didn't get it on her own merits, but I just think those things, they inspire, don't they? They inspire you. They give you that confidence, and
absolutely, yeah. And that's kind of what deity does as well. I remember when that was when was that, 2018, and we had to fight for Henry's pip. So when I went down there with him to the assessment place, I called on Bridget and I called on Lou because I was connecting with them in a very deliberate way at that time. And when I called on them, there something happened inside me that made me really stand up. It was
wow.
That's the only way I can describe it. And what was really funny, and I haven't told, I told Ian this, but I haven't really spoken about it to anyone else. When I walked in that room with Henry, it was a woman that was doing the assessment. I went in and I put my hand out to shake her hand, and she stood up and she went, "Oh," like that. She it was, the look on her face was
just really taken aback.
Yeah. So I put that down to, I invoked them and they came in and they held that space. Absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
Absolutely amazing. So I know, and when I connected with Hecate, so I'm scared of everything. Anything paranormal, supernatural, I was petrified of it. Yeah. I couldn't even watch what's that show with Yvette Fielding? Most Haunted. I couldn't even watch Most Haunted. I said, we're turning off, I can't watch it. I can't be in the same room as that program.
Wow.
I was just petrified of it. So through connecting with Hecate, I faced those things, and yeah, I can watch stuff now that it would go round and round in my head, and I'd be like, wouldn't be able to switch the light off to go to sleep, and
Wow.
Crazy.
Just going to put another log on the fire. I'm listening. Just need a bit more warmth.
So I know that connecting with deity, stroke, connecting with those aspects of yourself, is very powerful. And same with the elements as well. Same with the elementals.
Yes. Now that I connect to. The elementals I connect to. Just, it's funny, isn't it? I feel like I'm more of a, I don't know, I want to say hedge witch or nature witch or something like that. I feel like that's where I connect.
Yeah. And I know I have that connection because, again, we were doing a gathering. It was I think it was a Yule. It was either Yule or summer solstice. I can't remember. And I had all the candles going on the altar, and I did something, knocked a candle over on the altar. But do you know what? This candle, it didn't light anything on the altar. Yeah, I just picked it back up, and nothing was burned. Wow. I'm like, fucking hell.
Wow.
That was a bit scary.
I guess you had your elementals in balance then, didn't you?
Well, yeah, because I mean, and I have nearly set myself on fire. Before I was a witch, I knocked a candle over and set a pillow on fire. So I know it doesn't take a lot to set things on fire with a candle.
I did it years ago in when I was living in Bromley, and I had some floating candles, and they were floating in this bowl with, I think, some rose petals or something. I can't actually remember now. In the middle of the night, the smoke alarm went off, and the whole thing had caught fire. But the alarm had picked it up so quickly that there wasn't really much damage at all. But that was a real lesson to me. I really have to check out every night. Like, I've got one candle going tonight, so I really have to check out with myself every night. Otherwise, I can tend to leave things burning. And you just never know, do you?
Yeah. So yeah, connecting with the elementals is I'd say is as important, equally important to connecting with deity. And of course, like I say, some deity will correspond to one elemental more than so when you connect with Bridget, for example, you've got 3 elementals that you're also connecting with there, which is quite amazing. And others like Sekhmet, she is all about the sun. But also the earth, because when you become connected to Sekhmet, she is very much around the Kundalini rising, ascension, and guardianship of the earth. So she is also connected to the element of earth, or the planetary aspect of this planet. So, but not her main thing is fire, obviously, and the sun. So it's really interesting. And I've done And Ian mainly connects with deity through spirit, so he'll connect because he's he is a medium, so he will do it that way. I've done it all different ways, so I've let them call me and then guide me. I've also gone through like reading books, research, making notes, and then kind of sitting in meditation and seeing what comes. I think that's a really good one, is lighting some incense or a candle on your altar and then sitting in meditation and asking.
See what comes through.
I mean, for Bridget, you've got that well in your garden, so
I know.
Just meditating. I don't know if you've ever done that, if you've actually sat out there, obviously when it's warm.
Yeah, I mean, I have. I do remember sitting out there 2 summers ago. I think it was 2 summers ago. And I could feel energy. Well, it's quite interesting. I had Melissa was here with me. We were sitting in the garden. It was lovely. And as I got closer to the well, either something switched on in my palms or I picked up something from the well. Now, I don't know which it was. I was like, whoa, I can feel energy now.
Oh, wow. That's amazing.
I know. I've got some friends who are looking into opening up their well, and I'm very curious about that, but I'm going to let them explore it first because I think it's probably a very expensive thing to do. And I don't know how they'd get machinery into my garden without taking the wall and the fence down and stuff. So I don't actually think it's an option for me, but in my mind I'd love to do it. In my mind I think it'd be an amazing thing to do.
Absolutely.
I won't be surprised actually. I should go out tomorrow and just drop a stone in because we've had so much rain. It'd be really interesting to see actually a splash at the bottom.
So it's not sealed or anything?
No, this
oh wow,
about that much down there's like a grating that they obviously, I suspect when they had the wall reconstructed round it, they probably put the grating in at the same time, so the grating might be set into the wall, in which case I don't really want to dismantle it all. That would just be silly. But I guess that was for safety reasons. And with all my little grandchildren, I'm quite glad it's there, really.
yeah, definitely. Have you ever used dowsing rods around it?
Do you know what, Angie? One of the things I didn't get to talk to you about when you came up was look what I got for Christmas.
Oh, wow.
And whenever I hold them, I just go a bit. I'm just literally holding them now, and the one on the left's going bonkers.
Yeah.
So my friend Rachel, who gave them to me, she said that if you're spiritual, they tend to be a bit more wild, and they've got tiny little crystals on the end.
Oh,
can you see that?
Yeah. Very cool.
Yeah, amazing. She gave me that, and she gave me this beautiful piece of selenite wound with copper.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
Yeah, I haven't really got, I've played with these indoors, and I've actually played with them before I turn my Wi-Fi off. I've played with them around the Wi-Fi because I know when I had the cottage cleared last year, David, the guy who did it, he was testing me. He was using the rods to test my when we put crystals in front of the router, he could walk more closely towards me before they started to cross. But if I was standing just by the router, they crossed much more quickly. But, yeah, it was really, really interesting. So yeah, I will, when the weather's a bit nicer, I'll go out there and see what happens to them round the well.
Cool.
Yeah. Because I think you can use them for not just for water, but for all sorts of things. But I haven't.
Ley lines, any kind of energy they'll pick up on.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's very cool.
I need to do a bit of research into them, really. But yes, I love it. I love all those things.
That's really cool. So have you got any questions on, how to connect?
I don't think so. I think for me it's just when it comes my way. So in a way, that's what you've been saying, that the various ones have come your way, and you've obviously been attracted by some more than others. But I think I, rather than trying to force myself, have that connection with some that I don't feel a connection with. I mean, I always had a connection with Ganesh, the elephant god.
Yeah.
So I'm a bit sort of multi, whatever the word is, with my.
Do you know, some people get very triggered, about mixing up your pantheons. It's like, oh, shut up. If they're all aspects of yourself,
then
what does it matter,
Yeah, exactly.
Well, you can't put a Roman god with a Celtic god. Why not?
Why not? Exactly. They're just energies.
Exactly.
Energies. That's what they are at the end of the day, isn't it?
Oh God, because I did do a bit of soul searching about that, because can I have a Greek goddess and a Norse god on my altar? It's like backwards and forwards in my brain. Backwards and forwards. It's like, well,
Angie, there are no rules. That's what you
exactly.
There are no rules.
That's where I ended up. Well, there are no rules, because if they're just energy and they're aspects of me, then that would be like me having a fight with myself, which is ridiculous.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, we've got Egyptian, we've got Roman, we've got Norse, we've got Celtic, and I don't know about Discordia. She's kind of one all by herself. And Andraste, she's Celt. I don't even know if that's. They weren't really Celts, were they? The Boudicca's lot, the IC tribe. They weren't Celts. There wasn't even a thing there. They were just.
No, because the Celts were more Scotland and Ireland and Wales and Cornwall, weren't they? That's where the Celts tended to come from more.
Well, I've kind of read different ideas. So Celt is more of a description of art than an actual type of tribe. So I don't know, but they, some people think that they came from like the middle of Europe, and that it kind of, that the idea of the art kind of came into this country. Who knows?
It's true what you say about the art, because like it's Celtic knots and things like that, isn't it? And I've got earrings which are quite Celtic of origin. So with the design of them, I mean, they're not that old, but I mean, even this bracelet that I wear all the time, that's Celtic. That's Rennie Mackintosh one.
Yeah. You see, when you look at Rennie Mackintosh art, it's got a Celtic
very much, yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know about the whole Celt thing, because what was I reading the other day? This island. Hang on, it was in this book. So I started reading this again, Mastering Witchcraft. It's a really cool book.
Oh, okay.
There was he was talking about the name that this island had, which it's like, I don't even know if I've ever heard of that. It's really interesting. Where is it?
Because weren't we talking about Albion? Weren't we talking about? Was that on that full? Was that on the full moon call when Tim joined us? We were talking about Albion, weren't we? As
Yeah, Albion.
Yeah.
But this is a word that I've never heard before. Hang on. Bear with me. I think it's in the introduction. Damn.
Is that a dippy in and outy book? Because I can't, as you know, I can't read.
Yeah, kind of. Okay. So the indigenous Britons, or Prytani, Prytani. Have you ever heard that word?
No.
So hidden. It's all hidden.
Wow.
Prytani. It's probably not the correct pronunciation, but yeah. See here, he talks about the Celts. Hang on, let's go back a bit. Witch law, moreover, tells of settlers from the lost lands coming in their wanderings to the land which is now Britain and Northern Europe, or Middle Earth, as it was called in Old English.
Oh my god!
I fucking love that. I love that. And mingling with the Neolithic cultures then in existence, it was the people produced by this intermingling that the iron-bearing Celts discovered on their sweep westward across Northern Europe and into Britain around 500 BC. So it's like, you know.
I found it here. The Prytani were Iron Age occupants of what is now referred to as the northeast coast of Ireland and the northwest coast of Scotland. It's the name that was given to them in the writings of the early seafaring peoples of the Fertile Crescent. The earliest known documentation of Prytani was from Ptolemy, who used the name assigned by the Greeks some centuries earlier. They sailed north and found two types of people that they wrote about in their journals. They found the blue people in the peninsula now known as Scotland, and they found the white people on the island now known as Ireland. It's believed that the blue that is referred to is the blue woad they wore during their battles, rituals, or possibly tattoos and celebrations, and that the white referred to a chalk or ash mixture used for the same purposes. Fascinating, isn't it? Never heard of that before. Never heard of that.
Yeah.
There's loads of what is this? What is this? Tapper talk. Goddess within, a pagan place for women.
Oh wow.
I'll send you the.
Yeah. It's amazing, isn't it? You know, just one little word takes you to a place.
Yeah.
Because Andraste, there's not a lot known about Andraste. And I've only really connected with her through Boudica. But that's still to be explored. But there's not a lot known about her. Why?
No.
I
remember I was watching something a while ago, and it had Boudica in it. It was the story of those times. I can't remember what it was now. It's really fascinating. Can't remember. Just slightly different from that. You know, the person that we sort of led to believe, who, you know, was this strong woman who led the marauders in Britain, kind of thing, or fought back, or, you know, it was much more in depth. I can't remember what it was I was watching. Some kind of pagan story, obviously, but yeah, it was really interesting.
And that's the other thing you can connect to as well, the spirit of, you know, like the spirit of Boudica, for example.
Yeah.
Or, we do also connect with the spirit of Crowley, because he was, you know, a master.
Yeah.
So any of, you know, any, because it's all part of the same, you know, it's all the same thing. It's all energy, it's all spirit.
Yeah.
So, you know, if there was, I mean, even Zan, who is a character in Farscape, who is she's like a warrior priestess, but you know, there have been times when I think, okay, you know, and she's blue as well, and she's a plant. You know, what would Zan do in this situation? You know, if it's a spiritual dilemma, because you know, when you know, writers and directors and producers and actors, they bring these things to life, they're out there.
Yeah.
So they're out there in the ether to connect with.
Absolutely.
Which I find, you know, I think that's amazing.
I suppose there's one obvious one for me, isn't there, that I haven't mentioned, which is Merlin.
Of course.
The energy of Merlin and the whole kind of Camelot story is that lights my fire. Those kind of things. So you've got Guinevere, and you've got Arthur, and you've got Sir Galahad and Lancelot, you know, all of their different kind of characters, but clearly Merlin's the most important, even though he's snoring around his chair at the moment. But yeah. that's one that I do feel very connected with. So again, that's quite sort of pagan, isn't it? Quite like Green Manish almost. Yeah.
Very, yeah. So I suppose, you know, when it comes to, you know, the question of, do I connect with deity or not? I think it can only ever, because you've also got other energies. So you've got the I can never pronounce this word. Goethe, which is the whole demonology thing. So you've also got that side of things as well. And we did, what was there? I can't remember. I think it was Boone, B-U-N-E, Boone, which is the least demonic of the demons. And that was around financial magic, actually, which was quite an interesting journey. So you've got deity, you know, and some, you know, some of them are quite feisty. You know, some deities, you know, people might say are demonic.
Yes.
Hecate could be seen as very dark, and yeah, she is, because that's what she does. She transmutes the shadow. So in order to transmute the shadow, you have to know the shadow.
Of course. Yeah.
So there, I don't know, it's you know, whatever. I mean, we've kind of looked at briefly, like connecting with you know, those kind of demonic, or daemons, as they call them. But again, you know, a lot of it is steeped in very this kind of language, this Hebrew language, and it's like, no, I can't get on with that. So we've never kind of really gone that far down that road. And you know, although the financial magic thing was interesting, didn't really make much of a difference. So it's like, you know, it works for some people, but didn't really work for us. So we didn't pursue it. Whereas connecting with Sekhmet has been quite amazing on this, especially on this, you know, this ascension journey. It's been amazing. And with Ian connecting to the Hathor, so that's the other thing you can connect with, is, you know, whether it's the Hathors or whether it's the Arcturans. I mean, I'm still waiting, you know, although Ian's done lots of artwork on the wall of Arcturans, you know, I'm still waiting for them to talk to me.
Right, it's interesting, isn't it? Because I mean, I've been told that's where I come from. So they have occasionally spoken. So when I had my QHHT session in 2020, they came through, and they were like, their hands were all over me, like healing. It was amazing. And I supposedly had this Arcturian twin that I was reconnected with. And I mean, when she said it, I actually felt it happen. It was the weirdest thing.
Wow.
Yeah, but I haven't connected so much. I probably should just kind of go back to that again. And yeah, because there's something about, especially the blueness. I know some people say they're silver, but to me they're more kind of blue.
No, they are definitely blue. And in fact, so quite a few of the deities that I'm connected with, so Bridget, Lou, Mananon, Lou especially, Rhiannon, Adawan, I think Danu is as well. They all come from the Tuatha De Danann tribe. So when I was researching that, it's so interesting. When people talk about the shining ones, as in extraterrestrials, they are talking about the Tuatha De Danann tribe. So these deities are extraterrestrial in origin. They are the shining ones. They are the blue people. It's like, fucking hell. When I made that connection, I'm like, that's mental. Yeah. So I suppose I have been connecting with the Arcturans. I just didn't realise that was. So I need to shut up about connecting with Arcturans because I'm already doing it.
You have, yeah. You've got them in your flat as well, haven't you? So
absolutely, yeah, definitely. So it's you know, when you start to, you know, do that little bit of research, it's quite fascinating. Because those few, so Bridget, Ariane Rod as well, Lou, Danu, Mananon, Rhiannon, Adawan, they are all interconnected. They are all like part of the same lineage. It's quite easy to do the research on that because there's so much mythology around it. And the little pagan portals books are really good for that. But yeah, absolutely fascinating how they're all interlinked and how their family is constructed. It's fascinating. And I think, I don't know, there's something very, I mean, aside from the Egyptian and the couple of Roman deities that, you know, we connected to, there's something quite I don't know what the word is. It's pure magic, connecting to deity that is of, you know, this little island and the little island that's next to it.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's amazing.
And a lot of them are Welsh, aren't they? Or they're Welsh by name.
Yeah, Ariane Rod is Welsh. Lou is the Welsh pantheon. I think Arwen is as well.
Arwen, yes, that's Queen of Fairies.
He's the King of the Fae.
King of the Fairies. Yes. King of the Fairies.
King of the Fae, Lord of the Underworld, and I think that's what we did with Michelle at Beltane when we went into his cavern and we met him. He is fucking awesome. Excuse my French.
We should do something at Beltane then, because that's not that far away, is it?
Yeah, we can certainly do that. Just move my thing up a bit. Yeah, he's an amazing deity to connect with. I mean, and really, it's only at Beltane that I connect with him. I mean, he is on our ancestors' altar as well. First time I connected with him was back in 2016, and we did a Beltane ritual out in the garden with a few people.
Nice.
And yeah, very, very powerful energy that kind of blew my socks off a bit. But yeah, amazing.
And nice to do it outside as well. Yeah.
Yes, I think we did two rituals out in the garden. But because of a horrible neighbour that we had downstairs at the time, we stopped doing it because she was just so horrible. But what would be nice actually would be to go to find a wood somewhere that is frequented by people, and yeah, do something outside again, because we haven't done, apart from doing stuff on the cauldron stones, but it's not really the same as a proper structured ritual outside.
Yeah.
The last time we did that was 2019, when we did fucking hell, freezing our fucking nads off in Highgate Woods with, I don't know how many people were at this thing, but it was unmanageable for the people that were doing it. Yeah, and we were outside for a good 2 hours, freezing our fucking nuts off. But amazing wood. Is it
near the cemetery?
I'm not sure actually. I know it was reasonably near to the station.
Right.
It's a tube, and it was near this big pub. And we had a little walk up the road and then into Highgate Woods. Yeah, amazing. And you know, before I've been initiated as a witch, there was no way I'd be going into a woods on Halloween at night. No way.
No.
But it was amazing. It was amazing. Just for that experience. I mean, the ritual they did was because there were too many people there, really, and they couldn't really manage it properly.
That's a shame.
It was a shame. But I don't even know if they're still going, actually, that particular group. But it would be nice. It would be nice to do something like that.
Yeah, it would, yeah. COVID must have knocked a lot of those groups on the head, I imagine, because it made it so difficult, didn't it, for people to gather?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, even if even if, you know, everyone in your group was on the same page about, you know, this is all bullshit.
Yeah.
You know, the way the police were, they were bonkers.
Yeah.
I had a friend who was, where was he living? He was living up in, I think he was still in Sheffield at that point. And it put a thing on Facebook saying that, you know, he'd gone to the park and was sitting on a bench, and he was, you know, nearly accosted and arrested for sitting on a bench.
Oh,
So I said to him very clearly, they have no fucking right to tell you to move. You are not breaking the law. And he's like, no, I just moved because I didn't want to be arrested. It's like,
well, they used to cordon off with that tape, didn't they? Some of the benches.
yeah,
Just ridiculous. Goodness me. Anyway, that's kind of another story, isn't it? Not deities.
Well, I don't know what deities, you know, these puppets are connected to, but God knows. I don't even, well,
Deities or dark ones, Angie?
I don't know, because I think a lot of these kind of puppets are not actually soul beings. They're like NPCs. I don't think they just follow orders. They don't have any kind of sentience. That's what it feels like. You know, empty vessels. So they probably wouldn't even, you know, the idea of, you know, going on a journey, connecting to, you know, a part of themselves, wouldn't be able to anyway, because if they're NPCs, they wouldn't have that ability to connect.
No, the inclination, absolutely. Yeah.
So yeah, I can't actually imagine, because even if you're a witch who doesn't connect to deity, yeah, witchcraft by its very nature is a nature path, so you're connecting with the earth. So, which is to say they don't connect to deity, or I don't do that, you know, like it's some kind of, because a lot of people get, you know, all antsy, you know, between it's like, well, that's Wicca in that box over there, and that over there, that's witchcraft. Well, when you look at the word WICE, WICA, it actually, witchcraft and Wicca are one and the same.
Yeah,
they're not. They're not. They're the same word. They're just spelt differently.
Yeah.
And again, that book that I was showing you, that talks about that in there as well. So, you know, separating the two is like, well, that doesn't make sense. That's like trying to separate magic from, you know, science or alchemy. Yeah, it doesn't work. They're one and the same thing. So I you know, people who witches that say, oh, I don't connect with deity, I think that's, well, if you're a witch, then you're connecting with the earth, so
you've got to connect with something, haven't you? Yeah,
because you're working magic.
Yeah.
Even if you're connecting with yourself, you are by your very nature deity.
But for me, it's like connect with, like, whether it's the elementals or, you know, deities or whatever. It's like you and you even said that in when you were summoning them last night. It's about lend us your energy. It's about using them to amplify what I have, right?
Yeah. And all that is because, you know, we are made of all those elements. So we are the elementals. So all you're really doing is calling on yourself to just bolster up that energy.
Yeah.
So it's, yeah. It doesn't make sense when people say, I don't connect to deity. Off you go then. Bye. You go over there and stand in the corner. You haven't learned anything yet, have you?
Go in that I don't connect corner and have a think about it.
Write out your lines.
Yes.
I do not connect to deity, I am. Oh dear, it's funny. Did I have anything else to say about it? I think the other thing that I've observed as well, which is kind of bonkers, is covens that only connect with, we only connect with goddess. Oh, God, okay. We don't connect with gods. Well, why not? Don't you need balance?
You need the male and the female, of course you do. Yeah.
It's balance, isn't it? I find that quite interesting, because what you'll get is you'll get a rebel in the group going, actually I'll connect with the gods in my own time. Okay, I'm good with that.
Maybe they're all men haters in covens like that.
Well, you know,
Yeah,
I think probably, yeah, hit the nail on the head there.
Yeah.
Is quite, I don't know, and I think one of the things that, you know, the con taught us is there are lots of people out there who say they're witches, say they're occultists, say they're magic workers, you know, whatever label they want to put on themselves. But a lot of those people, and a lot of people who were extremely vocal about, you know, how fucking great they were as a witch, and they were shouting, "Put your mask on." It's like, what? What the fuck? What the actual fuck? So you're completely spellbound by the illusion, don't you understand?
Yeah. Yeah.
No, they were down with the whole, we must do as we're told, but you're a witch. The very nature of being a witch is that you don't.
Rebel.
Yeah, you do not do as you're told. That's why they were out always separate from the rest of the people. Amazed me, really did.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think I don't know, it's like, yeah, I mean, I don't go on TikTok, but you know, I heard stories from when we were in touch with Michelle. You know, she I mean, I don't know how she did it. She used to go on TikTok and look at these people who clearly have no idea about it, you know, witchcraft and spells and magic. And we're doing things like trying to hex the moon. It's like, what the fuck are you doing? Stop it.
That's crazy.
You know, what is that? You know, just stop. Just stop. I don't even know what, you know, what would even be the purpose of that, let alone ridiculousness, you know, of what these people were saying. It is so stupid.
But some people don't believe it's a real planet, do they? The moon, they're like, oh, it's a projection, or you know, it's this or it's that. And I was, when we were standing, like, you know, drawing the energy down through our wands last night, I was thinking, oh yeah, this is just a projection. Well, how come I can feel that enormous energy then? How come it interferes with my sleep on a regular basis, especially around the full moon? It's like, no, I'm sorry, that's not just a projection, laser projection in the sky. That is something.
it's, I mean, you know, you could say that, you know, we are programmed to believe that it's, you know, that it has this effect on us and all the rest of it, but I don't know. You know, when you walk this path of witchcraft and you can see through the bullshit, you know, if you know, if you're able to see through the bullshit, then you would be able to see if the moon was bullshit. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm with you on that one. It's, you know, we're standing on a planet. It's a, you know, it's solid. It's energy, but you know, it's been molded into something solid. So why is it impossible for the satellite that's moving around this planet to not be solid?
Yeah.
I don't know. And you know, with all the other planets as well, same thing, you know.
Yeah.
We, you know, again, we kind of we had a little look at the whole idea of flat Earth and projector, and you know, nothing is real. But it's like we've been talking about this recently. The idea of everything being an illusion. It doesn't. It's not good enough to just say everything's an illusion. Because
No.
what does
What
that
does that mean? Yeah.
What does it mean?
Mm.
You know, where does it take you?
Mm.
Is it helpful?
Well, if everything around us is an illusion, then are we an illusion too? So
Exactly. So where does that then put you? It puts you in a very odd place.
Mm.
Of, well, then if nothing's real, then what's the point?
Mm.
So it doesn't empower you.
No, I mean, if you're here on this earth right now to experience that kind of earthly living, then what would be the point of coming here if it was all just an illusion?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Be another con.
Absolutely. And that's another reason, connecting with deity. So, you know, deity or facets of yourself, you know, is you can ask them questions. You know, what is this then? If it's not an illusion, then what is it?
Mm.
What was I doing the other day? I wanted an answer to something. Can't remember what it was now. And I got quite firm. It's like, come on, this isn't good enough. You know, where's my answer? I think I did get my answer. It came in a kind of a roundabout kind of way, but I got my answer. So, and that's the thing, I think, with deity. So a lot of people will bow and scrape and doff their cap and come at it from a point of deity is higher than they are.
Mm.
I do not subscribe to that at all, because if they are aspects of you, then you meet them as equals every time. And I think that's something I had to do with Hecate. So I was in awe of her, like little bit scared to start with. But what I soon realized was, you know, you can't come at it like that, because then you are in a place of fear.
Mm.
And if you're connecting with the deity to, you know, release those fears, then you've got to stand up and be equal.
Yeah.
you can't be less than.
No.
Doesn't make sense.
Well, Well, it goes back to that thing of like worshipping false idols from the Bible, doesn't it? Really, it's like if you don't see them as an equal, then you're kind of in worship. And,
Yeah.
and where does that take you? Nowhere, really.
It takes you into servitude.
Yeah, exactly. Out of your own power completely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So yeah, I think that's quite an important aspect as well.
Yeah.
Yes, we invoke, yes, we call on these energies, but what you are, you're meeting them as equals, and it's like a friend. You say, oh, could you help me with this? I'm a bit stuck. Yeah. You don't go crawling on your hands and knees. No. Oh, I need your help, please help me. What? The other way as well, just popped in, is tarot, because you can get so many different tarot decks these days, but you can get there's oh god there's a deck. I think it's all what they call Celtic deities.
Sorry, just putting another log on the fire.
Yeah, I think it's the Celtic tarot deck. I think it's called that. So you could do that through tarot deck. You could do a reading and see what deities
connect
come through a reading, which is quite interesting.
I mean, I've got an Ascended Masters pack of they're like they're not tarot cards. They're, what's the other word?
Oracle.
Yeah, oracle cards. And there's certainly some beings in there that I connect with more than others.
So they come out more frequently.
Yeah.
Oh, and of course the other thing, the other aspect you can connect to is spirit animals.
Yes.
So obviously we have our familiars who's down here at the moment. Get comfortable on my blanket. But I also am connected with seagulls. That came through in a meditation years ago. I got a picture of, I've got a seagull in my meditation, and was told that's your spirit animal. I'm like, okay. That's why I've got them on my.
Yeah, nice.
And there I have actually got somewhere. It's a guided meditation to connect with your spirit animal, which is quite nice.
I think I have two. So I came across one in 2007 when I was in America. Same time as I kind of met, if you like, an Indian, an old Red Indian, and I forget them for a while, and then they just pop up. And I was doing a meditation. It must have been the Friday night one I was doing with Gemma, and she said something about your spirit guides, and I went whoosh straight there. So there was, there was my mountain eagle, who's the Red Indian guide. There's Dancing Bear, who's that's low power. Dancing Bear, who's a bear, and then a wolf that I just kind of walks by my side sometimes. So yeah, beautiful.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah, it's lovely. It's funny, isn't it, how you kind of, you don't exactly completely forget, but it's like they come and go.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Which is kind of the nature of spirit.
Yeah. Comes when we need it, or when we call it, or
or when they feel that you need to know something.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
and they could be calling you for a long time, and you
Yeah.
go, "What's that?"
What's that noise?
One day it goes, "Boo," and you're like, "Oh, right, okay." So yeah, it's amazing, really.
There's so much, isn't there?
There is. And I suppose, you could be overwhelmed by it, but then, if you are walking a synchro-mystic path of witchcraft, those signposts will come up when they need to.
And the time's right, yeah.
Absolutely. So yeah, I for you, I wouldn't, if you want to connect to however many, I've lost count now. How many I've connected with.
I think you got to 15, didn't you? I'm sure there's more.
I think there are. But yeah, if you stay open to the signposts, then when you need them, because you're on this magical path now and you have your magical eyes, they will certainly come up.
Yeah.
When they feel that you need to know something.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because what just before we wrap up, so the interesting thing about the Sekhmet journey is we connected.
9%, just to tell you, I've got 9% left on my iPad.
Cool. So we connected with her in 2019, just before the con started, and then during 2020 we were doing the alchemization meditations, which then led into the end of 2020, which was a massive shift. So we did that for us at the exact right time.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
it was like, fucking hell.
Wow.
That
Yeah.
couldn't have been timed any better.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's about trusting that synchro-mystic journey as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Because your soul has set that path. Yes, it weaves, and you can choose not to, or you can choose to follow the signposts. That's your free will, but your soul is guiding you, which is why we set that the illuminated path at Samhain, so that it's very clear.
Like you
and those things come up.
Nice.
Do you feel that was helpful in any way?
Yes, it's kind of confirming to some things that I felt, and I think confirming what you said to me, but also confirming how I feel, which is like, don't force it, just take the ones that feel right. And hadn't really even thought about the elementals until you spoke about them, and it's like, damn, yeah, of course they really are, they really do speak to me.
Yeah.
So no, it was a really interesting chat. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
Yeah. Shame there weren't other people like joining us. It's always interesting.
I know. Well, people say they're gonna turn up, but I don't know. It's very strange. We get people buying tickets and don't show up. So
yeah.
It's very strange.
Now it's queer as folk.
Sorry?
Now it's queer as folk.
Indeed. So I don't know. I'm not sure if I'll put this up on YouTube or not. I don't know. Do you think it's worthy of sharing this just on that platform?
I don't know, really, Angie. I don't know. I guess people will either be drawn to listen or they won't. So, yeah.
Okay. Would you mind if I put it up on YouTube?
No, I don't mind. I know I was eating my dinner at the beginning of it.
That's okay. That's
kind
okay.
of natural, isn't it?
Yeah. Cool. But I'll send you the video or the link.
Thank you.
Cool. Well, thank you.
Thank you. Enjoy the rest
to myself otherwise.
Oh no, we can't have that.
I don't know. So yeah, thank
Enjoy
you.
the rest of your evening.
Yes, we're going to go and have some mushroom risotto now.
Oh, yummy, lovely,
Yes.
very nice. And I had half a bottle of Erdinger tonight. I saw it in the fridge and I thought, do you know what, I'm really thirsty and I've worked jolly hard this afternoon. So it was very nice.
I've got a Guinness Zero.
Oh, okay.
Which I'm probably going to have with my risotto.
Enjoy.
Will do. Take care, Val.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.